Fun with Failure.
Hello and welcome to Fun with Retail, first edition, or second edition. If you're counting the first facepalm, it'll be the second, but officially it's number one. All of my previous templates have been destroyed, so I've had to make whole new templates for all of my episodes. I've tried to make them better, so I hope you enjoy. As you know, anyone who works in retail or has to go shopping, you're bound to have a cluster of people. A lot of normal people, and a lot of people who are not that pleasant to be around. Yet it makes for some interesting stories. I hope you enjoy. So, here we go. This happened 5 years ago. I grew up in a city with a rather large popular store with a very large international section, along with a very interesting hot sauce display. The store draws people from all over the USA. Now, this store isn't laid out in the best possible manner. It requires a bit of knowledge, or a good locational memory to get around without needing a map. So, on to the story proper. I was 19 and rather heavy set at the time. I was wearing a plain white t-shirt, olive cargo pants that had glittered embedded metal shavings and machine oil stains on it, work boots and a name tag. All the employees, they wore black polos with hats with the store's name on it, or store branded merchandise, black pants, and nice shoes. Now about this name tag, it was pretty obvious it was not for this store, as it was cream colored with black text, instead of black with green text. My name badge also had my name and area, and the words Quilting Guild in big bold letters, because yours truly quilts. And I had just come from a quilting event. So I'm in the meat department. I help out a couple find the big old hot sauce aisle, which isn't visible from where we are, but there are registers at the end of the meat aisle, so it's just a bit confusing. I see this couple wandering slowly, looking confused, and overhear the words hot sauce aisle. Are you guys looking for the hot sauce aisle? Yes, we are. The sign said that it's in the back, but we don't know how to get there. Are we at the end of the store? No, you go this way, hang a right, then either go straight, and blah blah blah. I directed them towards to where they wanted to go. Thanks. Then they exit stage right. Not pursued by a bear. Cue suburban white mom, who has a cane that she obviously doesn't need, seeing that she jogged over to me. Hold on to your butts, it's gonna get weird. Here's a conversation. She's snapping at me like I'm a dog. Hey you! Can you go get a cart for me and push it around for me? Mid-story interrupt. We're in the middle of the store. There's no easy way to go get a cart in the first place. Also, what the heck? I attempt to comprehend what just happened. I roll a natural 1, and with the temporary -5 wisdom modifier, I fail critically. Excuse me? You heard me, you lazy, ungrateful snowflake. Go get a cart so I can shop. Can't you see I'm disabled? She dramatically wobbles her cane, glossing over the fact that she just hoofed it 50 feet to get to me. I recover my wits and assume that it's just a simple misunderstanding. Miss, I don't work here. Here's another side note. This lady walked past 8 shopping carts on the way in. She starts getting flush. Don't give me that. I heard you helping those people over there. I know your manager Martinez. His wife is my client. I'll get you fired and barred from ever working in any store in this area. I will have you blacklisted. I'm getting rather annoyed, and I'm pretty laid back. But depression has a way of turning you into a jerk. Miss, you can get the heck out of my face. I don't work here. She starts wobbling her cane even more, frothing at the mouth, shedding her constricting human form to reveal herself as a she-Satan. No, not really. Then explain why you have a name tag on then. I turn fully to face her, so she has a plain view of Quilt Guild that is blaringly obvious. Then I say, oh my god, it's almost like name tags exist somewhere outside the store. Go ahead, go to Rodriguez. Ask him if there's any lazy, entitled snowflakes that look like they work in a machine shop, constantly breaking uniform regs, and has a habit of mouthing off valuable customers. She starts to realize that she's in the wrong here. Well, I guess I'll have to go hungry. Maybe if you clean yourself up and not be a fat slob, you could get a job here. No, wait, I'll have you barred from entering here ever again. She wobbles her cane in victory, stalks off towards the pork, knocks over a wet floor sign, slips and falls on her butt. Me and the other people who overheard the exchange, 0 craps given. Sweet wet floor of justice. I work swing shift security at a warehouse a few blocks away from a busy plaza. I live only a few blocks away, so sometimes I swing by the Golden Arches so that I can pick up a burger or something. But it's always packed because I start work around the time school releases. I usually go through the drive-thru, but I was actually running late, so I decided to go inside. It's important to note that I was wearing my security uniform. When I go in, there's about 4 people ahead of me in line, so I'm kind of leaning on the little partition and half wall that they have separating the ordering counter from the dining area. An older lady, probably around her late 70s, walked in and got in line. Now, since I was half a step back leaning on the partition, I could understand if she thought that I was waiting for food, so as she browsed the menu, I told her, "Excuse me, ma'am, just letting you know that I'm in line, just being lazy." She looks at me dead in the eyes, and I continue. "So, just letting you know, because when the line moves, I'm gonna go get in front of you, since I'm in line." She kept staring at me until I took a half a step forward, into what is probably her uncomfortable zone. But that's what she gets for not answering me. She looked like she woke up with her eyes open. "Oh, but you work here." Now remember, I'm wearing my security uniform with black pants, gray polo with security patches on the arms. "Oh no, I'm just heading to work and grabbing something to eat." She hasn't moved at all, so we're just all up in each other's space. "Well, but you don't need to be buying food on the clock." "No, ma'am. What I'm saying is I don't work here. I'm getting food then going to work. I'm in line ahead of you." She gets frustrated and openly rolled her eyes and scoffed. "Well, what kind of place lets their employees cut in line? There are too many people here anyway. I can't wait in this line." At this point she heads for the door but calls back, "I'll be calling about this, young lady." I did a slow blink to figure out what just happened, and as I shook my head, the lady in front of me turned around. "What the crap? You told that lady you didn't work here like 10 times. Back in the 90s, my dad used to travel for work, and as such he would stay in a number of hotels. This one trip, he stayed in downtown Toronto for about a week, and one night he returned rather late from a convention he attended. His normal work attire was a black polo and dress pants, but with the company logo on the left side in bright bold letters. While entering the hotel lobby, this older lady practically threw her keys at my dad. Then she said, "Bring it around back for me." "I'm sorry, bring what?" "Not right now, son. It's late and my husband is expecting me. Now bring it around for me like a good valet." Then he realizes that he's dressed almost identically to the hotel's bellmen and valets, and he attempts to correct her. "Oh, I apologize. I'm just on my way in myself and I need to..." Then she interrupts him. "I don't care about your private life. You're on duty, and if you want your tip, you will park my car." Dad was having none of it. He was feeling pretty tired, and finally had enough of this lady. "Absolutely, miss. I'll have your car around for you right this minute." "About time. I'll be waiting over there with my husband for you." Once she walked off to join her husband, my dad goes to the front desk to tell the agent that he found these keys in the parking lot, and that he's returning them. The agent thanks him, and off he goes to sleep. 2 days later, he's checking out, and who shows up but the old lady at the desk. "How dare you steal my keys? I should have you arrested." "Steal? You gave me your keys when I was trying to leave from my room, and you wouldn't listen. Tough luck." And with that, he left in his own car, leaving her in a trail of tears. Hopefully. This happened about 4 years ago. I worked at a data center. It's as fun as it sounds. For a company that was situated in a business district of my city. In that job, it was extremely important that you leave the building on your lunch. Not doing so meant that others assumed you were having a working lunch. So on lunch, I go into the shopping areas of the city, and I just look around. I grab something to eat, and I ensure that I'm back in work at the exact time that I need to be there, and no earlier. This day I decided to go into Primark, which is a clothing store in the UK. I was casually browsing the shirts, and I was completely in a world of my own. I must have been looking around the same area for a few minutes, when I felt this presence to the right of me. Now this isn't unusual. Busy stores, middle of lunchtime, and fairly tight spaces between clothes rails. I get fed up at looking at the shirts, and I turn to walk away, only to hear this. "Oh dear Jesus!" I turned to see the man that was standing close to me, with a look of sheer terror in his eyes, staring at me for a moment in disbelief. This confused me a lot. I was about to ask if everything was okay, and this guy's terror, it turns to a relieved laugh. Covering his face and turning quite red at the scene he just made, he said, "I thought you were a mannequin." This happened about 8 years ago. I was working in the photo department for a popular retail store. I was minding my own business, working on some orders, when I see a kid, probably around 12 to 14 years old, zooming past my counter, rolling on his shoes with the wheels embedded in them. I believe they were called Hillies. Anyways, on his second pass, I tell him he needs to slow down, because I don't want this hooligan to knock over a shelf or get himself hurt. This kid totally ignores me. He continues zooming past, and not 10 seconds later, I witness it. One of the greatest moments of instant karma I've seen working retail. As I'm watching him roll away, the front of a shopping cart comes jutting out of the end of an aisle, directly ahead of him. And I watch in utter bliss as he literally tumbles headfirst over the cart, landing with a thump on the other side, with his feet hanging above his head. I had to summon all of my willpower not to laugh, but when the kid finally stumbled back on his feet, he looked my way. He knew. The look of pure embarrassment on his face was excellent. He exited the store so fast. The customer who was pushing the karma cart, they didn't have time to ask if he was alright. This happened maybe 7 years ago, but I still remember it because of the whole situation. It happened over the course of 2 days. I work in a well-known discount supermarket, and on both days I was still on the till. A customer comes up with a toaster. This is how the conversation went. "I want to return this toaster." "Okay, is there anything wrong with it?" "It burns the toast at every setting. It doesn't matter what setting I put it at, it burns the bread." "Okay, I'll get my manager to authorize a refund for you, but he's going to have to test the toaster before we can take it back." We need a manager to authorize any refunds over a certain amount. So the manager grabs some bread off the shelf and goes back in the back with the toaster. Maybe 5 minutes later, the manager comes back with a piece of bread. He said to the customer that the piece of bread that he tried wasn't burning the toast at all. The customer wasn't having any of it, and he stuck to what he said. The manager would go back changing different settings to see if it was fine, and they came back all unburnt. He had to do that 3 or more times. The customer still was sticking to his guns. It got to the point where the customer went through the back with the manager to see what he was doing. In the end, the customer didn't get a refund, and he had to leave with the toaster. 2 days pass. I'm on the till again, and guess who's back? This time with his wife, who also believed that the toaster was faulty. The store manager who dealt with the customer was also there. So we got to deal with the customer again. The next part may seem made up, but I promise you it happened. The wife was armed with a piece of bread that she'd done in the toaster. It wasn't burnt in any way. It was more white than anything. And she was asking people in queue whether they would eat this toast or not. Everyone she asked would say yes, and she wasn't happy about it. So the store manager, the deputy manager, the customer and his wife all went back to the back to essentially watch a toaster do what it does, which is toast bread. By this time, I'm trying to hold back a fit of laughter. I couldn't believe this was actually happening. In the end, the customers had to take the toaster back, and they didn't get a refund. I'm not entirely sure they know what a toaster's supposed to do. Thank you for joining me with Fun with Retail. I was gonna have like 10 stories, but I've got a bad sinus infection. As a matter of fact, it kinda hurts to talk. But I really wanted to do this. I've been wanting to do it for several days, but it's been hurting really bad. Thank you for your patience. I'll want to do some neckbeard stories next. Hopefully this will clear up. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, thank you for shopping with us. Come again.